What if you only have like an hour a day? How can I maximize that hour?
Yeah. You know, the as I said, the most important thing is not giving up. So I would say do whatever it takes in this hour for you to want to do another hour tomorrow.
Do whatever it takes an hour today so that
You
you want
will
to
want to do another hour
do an
tomorrow.
hour tomorrow.
Just keep it going. So it's very tempting to say, I've only got an hour, so I'm going to study the grammar books really hard until my brain hurts. But then you will associate language learning with pain.
Yes. Don't
And
work.
you all want to be heroes that if it doesn't hurt, I've not worked hard enough. But in my experience, whenever I've done that, I don't want to pick that grammar book up again because it's too painful. So really, you're not going to get a lot done in 1 hour.
Yeah.
But you'll get a lot done in 365 hours.
Nice.
So, the most important thing I think is what is in your language learning today. Do whatever it takes for you to want to do 1 more hour of language learning tomorrow.
Wow, that's profound.
Because I think it's realistic.
No, totally. That's really the key. I mean, if you don't like, for me, I associate grammar book with sleeping. So I pick it up, I fall asleep. So there's no more grammar book for sure.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
So, in fact, a lot of people think if they haven't worked hard, they've wasted the hour.
Mm.
I feel that if you've done something you didn't enjoy, so you never do it again, that's wasted the hour.
Mm.
So even if you're just watching the Smurfs or reading Harry Potter, or even if it's just something really basic in the language, if at the end of it you think, oh, that was really good, I really enjoyed it, and even if you don't think you've learned anything, you probably have. It will have sunk in, because everything in language learning is about repetition and things slowly sinking in. You know, this is one of the big problems that people have when they think language learning is like learning history off other facts. They think, I know all the vocabulary now because I've read the lists and I can remember the words. But when they come to have a conversation, they can't say them because they're struggling to remember the words.
Yeah.
And that's because language learning isn't about... It is partly about learning facts, but mostly it's about getting things deeper and deeper and deeper inside you from continual exposure to things that you already know. I'm currently taking a cookery course.
Okay.
Yeah, science of gastronomy and cookery. And one of the instructors said in that course is, you should keep studying something and keep practicing something until it's so automatic you're yawning at learning the stuff again because it's so basic, it's beneath you.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he said, if you can do the stuff in your sleep, kneading bread and so on is something we've been learning recently, how to make bread. And he said, if you can pretty much do it in your sleep or without even thinking, then you know it. If you've got to rack your brain and try to remember what was in the textbook, then you've only got a very superficial knowledge. And I find the same is true with languages. I might know all the vocabulary, I might know the grammar stuff, but when I hit a real conversation, the words aren't flowing because I only know it at sort of an intellectual level.
Yeah.
And it's when it sinks down inside you through repeated exposure over and over and over again that the words just come flowing out. I've said this in some of my videos, actually.
Yeah.
People talk about, when will I be able to think in the foreign language? And I think that's not a very good question, because as I'm speaking to you now in English, I'm not thinking in English, the words are just coming out.
Yeah. You're not
You know what I
thinking,
mean?
you just talk.
It's just talking.
Yeah.
And so what you want to reach is not to be thinking in German or Spanish or anything. Now in my German, I can speak basic German, I suppose, but I have to think a little bit as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas in French, I don't know. It just comes out.
Yeah.
And the same with Czech and so on. But so it's when you're not thinking in the language that the words are just coming out that I think you've actually achieved a great conversational ability.
I see.
And that comes, like with the bread making, I think, when you have gone from the intellectual knowledge to it's sort of deep inside you and it's completely automatic, you could do it in your sleep. And that doesn't come from spending 1 hour of serious effort. It comes from 365 hours over a year of letting it all sink in.
I see. And so when you said, okay, how can I, so I'm just exploring what you said about how
Sure.
can I use that hour so that I want to do it again
Yeah.
tomorrow, right? So for me, what I think would work for me is maybe half an hour of learning and half an hour playing.
It sounds great. In fact, this is another thing that I said I've got a really bad power of concentration, I think, because with learning, I can only manage 15 to 25 minutes. So
Yeah.
probably what I would do personally is
Yeah.
probably 2 15-minute sessions of learning with a
Okay.
break between them,
Yeah.
and then play and play and play and play. Yeah.
Ah.
But again, that's what works for me.
Totally. I mean, I can see that. I mean, we can try different things and see what works, but totally, 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes of like concentrate, not distracted, like, you know, like focused learning. Is that what you're talking about, right?
50 minutes of focused learning
Yeah.
twice a day, twice in the day to make up a half hour, and then a half hour of making it fun
Making
for
it fun.
yourself.
So you want
I
to do it
watch
again.
the Smurfs, and you'll think, "Oh, this is fun," you know. So your last memory of the language isn't I've got a headache.
Yes.
It's actually, oh, you know, I bought actually when I was learning Czech, I bought two very fat joke books.
Yeah.
So that, and I have these at my bedside table, and sometimes I'll just open these up and read a page of jokes and giggle a little bit about them, and it leaves me with a happy feeling of the language as I'm falling to sleep.
Yeah.
And so this is an example of play again. Make your closing time with the language pleasant so that you'll want to do it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, thank you so much. This is such a great conversation. I learned a lot.
Oh well, I'm very impressed if you did, because I don't think anything I've said is pretty outstanding. It's just pretty simple stuff, I think. But these are just the lessons I've learned through my own struggles. Again, in my video at the conference, I was talking about polyglots.
Yeah.
And I know we all get very excited about polyglots and their great accomplishment, but the majority of people are people who are struggling with language learning.
Yes.
I think, honestly.
Yes.
And my real focus is on why are people struggling with language learning and what can be done to help them.
Yeah.
So I'm not really addressing stuff for people who can already speak 10 languages.
Of course.
I'm much more interested in people who are just starting out, maybe in their first or second language, and struggling with them.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Because that's
Totally
the
good.
vast majority of people, I think, and I think that those are the people that probably I can help.
Yeah,
little
so
bit.
that's actually, this is what this video is for, not for people who can speak like 10 languages. I mean, it gets easier and easier as you go. If you know, as you said
That's right.
in the video, you just add one, and
That's right.
and that's really, and from all the interviews that I've done with people, usually once they add one and then they get addicted and they want to add one and one and one and one and one. So
Right.
all we need to do is help people to add one.
Yes.
And that's really what my focus is too, and that's what I'm sure this video will help people to add one language.
I hope so. I hope it helps some people anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye. If you want to find out more about Anthony, here's his channel. And if you want more of these interviews with different polyglots, learn from these master of language learning, subscribe to this channel. And I also want to know what you learned in this video, and also how you're going to implement in your life. So leave a comment, let me know. Lastly, Genius Plus is about to launch in a few weeks. It's a memorization app that I've been working for the past year, basically taking all these things I learned from polyglots, my language learning experiment, living in a foreign country, all inside the app to help you to learn to speak the language as fast as possible. So stay tuned, it's going to be awesome, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.